Hi, welcome to Founder Scape, where we explore the latest trends and innovations shaping the world of business and beyond. I'm your host, Janina, and today we have a very special guest. This handsome guy right here. We have Harry, the founder and CEO of Digital Nomads Taiwan. Hi, Harry. Welcome to Founder Scape.
Hello, thank you for inviting, and it's definitely an honor for me to be here.
Hi. So let's get started. Can you tell us more about how you came up with the whole idea of Digital Nomads Taiwan? Because I heard it's becoming a pretty big community.
Hopefully, it's a big one.
It looks like a big one from the photos. Can you tell the people who don't know about Digital Nomads Taiwan what it's all about?
So before the story about Digital Nomad Taiwan community, so Digital Nomad is a group of people who can work through the internet and they don't have to be 9 to 5 in the office. Mm-hmm. And the story behind Digital Nomad Taiwan community is that in the past 2 years, I was working as a business development manager in HR industry, and it was a fully remote company. Mm-hmm. That's why I got to experience a life as digital nomad. There was one time I attended an international digital nomad program in Fukuoka, Japan, and I spent time with more than 50 nomads from more than 20 countries in the entire month. And during the month, I was so inspired. That was my first time knowing the term digital nomad. Before, I would just consider myself a remote worker traveling around the world. But in Fukuoka, I actually was surrounded by a group of people who are full of curiosity, who are interesting and professional in many ways. That made me so interested in getting along with these kinds of people more. So after the program, I got back to Taiwan. I started to look for where are the other nomads in Taiwan. However, it was so difficult to find an open community and where people gathers. So, and that's where the story started. I decided to make a meetup. And this is what everyone sees right now. And every month there are more than 50 people gathering physically, where people can exchange ideas about either becoming a digital nomad or life digital nomad leads.
So 50 people, that's a lot of people, is it? Or for you, that's still like not enough people for your community?
I would say I wouldn't define the size of the community by just how many people attending the meetup. Mm-hmm. So depending on the type of the event, like meetup is just a place, public, casual, for people who are either interested in this topic or who are actually digital nomads to meet new friends to connect. It's not only for digital nomad, it's for people who are interested in this community.
Mm. And when you started Digital Nomad, did you start it on your own? Did you find like a team? Can you give us like a brief overview of like how the process of building this community from like day one?
Okay, so talking about how I come up with the idea and gradually build out a community, to be honest, 4 years ago, I was in Taiwan also operating a language exchange brand. It was also the physical meetup in Taiwan, up to 200 to 300 people monthly. And during the time, I've learned the skill about how to mix locals and internationals. And combining with that experience, now I feel that digital nomad is digital nomad is a group of people who are not only traveling, but want to actually connect it with local to explore culture. So, of course, at the beginning, it was just a survey. I put out the surveys in the internet and asked people if they would be interested. And surprisingly, only within 2 weeks, more than 80 people replied, "Oh, thankfully, someone is making the meetup." And I didn't even decide to actually do the meetup yet. And there are people showing a lot of appreciation to me, the person who was just doing the survey. And I realized that actually there's a sort of a strong need of meeting people in person for digital nomads.
So you saw, sorry. So you saw, last opportunity. So you saw a need and you filled it with this community, and it's great because you already know without even starting the digital nomads community that you already have a specific market that you can cater to, right?
Not 100% sure at the beginning, but I did some testing. I mean, statistics-wise, in 2024, we have held 24 offline events, and 16 events was at the very, and 16 event was actually at the first 6 months. By holding a lot of events, we can see that what people like and what people don't like, and what actually fit into the market. For example, we have done meetup, we have done lecture toward both local and internationals, and these 4 types of event actually lead to different results. And apparently, international meetup is more popular among the 4.
Okay, so now can you give us like a basic run through of all the events that Digital Nomads Taiwan have? Do you go through like categories, or is there like any specific themes that you go through for your events throughout the year?
Okay, so in 2024, we have tried many types of events, and you can summarize into 5 types of events. So first of all, is the monthly meetup. We do every month, which is the most popular one. The second one will be the lecture event. At the early times, we have tried to do some educational session to teach people about like, how to become digital nomad or how to travel in other countries. And the third one would be the one-day colleague, which is also the co-work event, which we started at the end of last year. This is also the feature event of our brand, like where a lot of people are coming in the daytime to work together. And the fourth one will be Nomad Night, and this is the theme event holding at night with more decoration and stuff and design, which we hope to get people who are really want to connect and enjoy the event itself, not just about networking. The fifth one will be pop-up event. This is a really random but interesting one. So sometimes there will be some of my digital nomad friends coming from overseas, and I would just create a random event for them to connect to locals. So something special about this event is that for pop-up event, there's no sign up, no fee charge, and no announcement. Like usually announce like 3 days before the event, but eventually people will just come to meet this digital nomad, which is interesting.
That's pretty cool. So like from all these 5 types of events, is there a specific one that you particularly like? It's like asking you to choose a favorite child. But it's like, I know that all of them are great, but if you had to choose one, which one is like the one you like the most?
I would definitely say it's the Nomad Night. First of all, it's because the complexity of the event, which also bring a more interesting content to whoever are participating. And for myself, I love organizing. I love to drive people. So when working on these complex events, I got more chances to explore what our team could do. It's not just about doing the monthly routine like a meetup. It's more about challenging ourselves as an event planning company. Every time we try, we charge higher prices and also definitely provide a better quality. And I take these challenges as my favorites.
Yes, that sounds great. So how big is your team?
Currently, we have a team of 10.
10.
And apart from me, every member has their own full-time job. Some are actually digital nomad, and some are people working in local companies, still 5 to 9, but also interested in digital nomad. Some are freelancers.
Oh, cool. That's a great community of a great team you have working on this digital nomads community. Now, if I may ask, so you said you started this 2 years ago, so it hasn't been pretty long, but have you, in these last 2 years, have you seen the community kind of change or grow? What are your observations for the digital community, nomad community in Taiwan?
Oh, correction. I started it 1 year ago.
1 year.
My nomad life started 2 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So, so you mentioned that you started Digital Nomads Taiwan full-time last year, correct? And then your nomad life started 2 years ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, to be more specifically, so this is a 2 year.
Okay.
So my nomad life started from 2 years ago. And at the middle point, which is a year ago, I started a community. And I started to become a full-time working on it 2 months ago.
Oh, so when you started Digital Nomads Taiwan, you still had your previous job?
Yeah, most of the time I was working full-time in a company. The reason why I decided to actually jump into it 100% since September, the end of September, is that I realized there are movement from government, and not only Taiwan government, but all the government in Asia countries. So that made my mind to jump into a digital nomad world.
So can you briefly give us like an overview of how the Asian governments are supporting digital nomads like specifically in Taiwan, because you're doing Digital Nomads Taiwan. Like what kind of support can digital nomads look forward to if they plan to become a digital nomad in Taiwan?
So first of all, definitely some infrastructure, for example, like Wi-Fi, cafe, and co-working space. There will be something gradually appear in I would say in this country. And from the government, the Country Development Council, they have made a policy of digital nomad visa, Taiwan Digital Nomad visa, and it is officially launched at the end of 2024. Starting from this year, a lot of digital nomads from over the world can actually apply for Taiwan Digital Nomad visa, and with actually not a really high, no, I shouldn't say that, but
not a really high what?
Yeah, I mean,
you can tell us.
Yeah, I shouldn't really say that. But I would say that, yeah, Taiwan Digital Visa is something. Wait, let me think of how to describe the things. Okay, I would say like Taiwan Digital Visa is it's a smart policy that Taiwan government made, because basically two qualifications. The first of all, if you have ever been a digital nomad visa holder from another country, then you can directly apply for it in Taiwan. And secondly, with an okay amount of like annual income within 2 years, then you can also apply for that directly. From the beginning of the year, there are already 2 success cases of applying digital nomad Taiwan visa compared to Japan, compared to Korea. Our policy is more friendly to digital nomad from international.
So as you see your community, are there more digital nomads that are local, Taiwanese, or are there more international members from your community?
The composition of our community is quite, I would say it's really diverse, super diverse. Around like 50% are international and the other half are locals, and includes 25% of entrepreneur. And most of the people speak English, and also like around half the people have a capability of working fully remotely.
And so do you also like offer these digital nomads like any support or other services other than your events?
Currently, we are mainly creating spaces like networking opportunity for people who are interested in digital nomads. And looking ahead, we are going to do some inbound travel services. For example, creating some local tours to guide digital nomad when they first enter Taiwan. And in the far future, we are aiming to build the academy, which is the educational institution, to provide local people, whoever are interested in becoming digital nomad, to embark their journey.
That sounds so cool. And so, like, for the foreigners coming to Taiwan, do you see like any kind of areas where they struggle, or where they need more assistance, or where they need a little bit more help as digital nomads?
As digital nomad, I would say from my experience being a digital nomad, we need some physical meetups. Yeah, definitely. Because traveling while working remotely is something actually really lonely. And especially when all your coworkers, your colleagues are working with you remotely through the screen. And when you when you first enter a country, of course, exploring the local places and where are you going to get those information and maybe some travel buddies, I would say physical meetup is something I will looking to go.
So like it helps build the sense of community with people who work with other people who are very far from them. Yeah, because they're working remotely, right?
So talking about some support to these nomads who are coming to a new country, I would say just for myself, as myself being a digital nomad before, I would say the first thing I'm looking into is to find the local communities. First of all, working remotely is lonely, and especially for when people who work always online remotely, we do need to meet some people in person, not only to make friends, but also maybe we can get some information directly from local people or for like-minded people who are also traveling. Secondly, sometimes it gives me some sense of secure when we meet people in person.
I heard that you did a market analysis on building your community. Tell us about it. Why are you laughing?
This is interesting, but that's a part of the, I would say business secret, but I would love to share because I think like people are not actually aware of it. Like in Taiwan, if you're talking about public, casual meetup with international and locals, probably for people who are actually attending meetup, you can realize. I mean, you have already probably realized that there's no current one in Taiwan. Not really. What I mean by no current one is that if you want to find a meetup which is held like constantly with okay quality and always new people coming and go, you don't find one. There are many reasons behind. The first of all, the event itself is not really sustainable financially. That's the first thing, especially in Taiwan. And the second thing is that to maintain a good quality event, it requires a lot of, first of all, manpower and effort from all the team members. And thirdly, without the team, it just costs too much effort for the organizer to organize the event. If you're talking about just gather a group of people for them to do chit chat, to do networking in Taiwan, perhaps it works for foreigner because chit chat culture is quite popular among the world, not in Oriental countries. But for Taiwanese, if you don't provide some ice-breaking games, if you don't provide some activities for them to open their mouths, it will be quite difficult for most of the Taiwanese to actually do networking. So to successfully to successfully mix locals and international, you have to keep both. First of all, the clarity of description of the event description to foreigner, and of course good photos, and you have to design some steps, some activity for Taiwanese to do icebreaking.
Have you seen, so you've done events for a year, right? Like 24 events for 2024. Hey, that's nice, 24. You should do 25 for 2025. It just keeps getting bigger, right? 24 events for 2024. Did you see like a change in the community from when you first started to the last one you did last year?
Definitely. So I would say apparently the size of the community, the event, and everyone start from zero, and of course me as well. From the beginning, I even have to send messages to a lot of people to ask directly if you are coming to the event. Now I just posted on Instagram, and there will be easily get more than 100 people sign up.
That's cool.
And secondly, of course, the size of the team. At the beginning, it was myself with just one or two helpers for the event, but now we have a team of 10, and everyone serves for different functions of the event, which make the event go smoothly. And thirdly, it's a diversity of our community member. From the beginning, it was just several people who are like someone who are not actually even not interested in Nomad. They're just coming for fun, for event. But now, most of the people who are coming to the event, they are looking to do networking. They are looking to learn more about digital nomad. Some people, of course, they are digital nomad, are here for making more local friends. And I also heard from overseas that there are some digital nomad there are some digital nomad contacting. There are some digital nomad contacting the Instagram account before they actually visit. They want to schedule the meetup. They want to ask for if they are okay to attend the meeting to make some friends.
Cool. So these international digital nomads, when they come to Taiwan, usually how long do they, their lifespan in Taiwan? When we look at a new member coming into your community, do they usually stay for a year, 6 months, or are there also members that have been here for a long time?
I would say there are just too many types of people. There are some people who are traveling and passing by Taiwan for just a few weeks, few days, and of course for a few months. And there are also expats who are staying in Taiwan for a long time, entrepreneurs who are building business in Taiwan for many years, and also there are people who are having family, sometimes exchange student. I would say it's not just a certain type of people who are coming to our events.
So a wide variety of people.
A huge variety.
Huge variety of people. And you mentioned that there are people who are coming to ask, who want to know more about how to be a digital nomad. So do you also kind of, in your lecture series, do you also share information on people who are who have joined your community and are wanting to make the move from a regular office job to becoming a digital nomad? What are your tips, or do you have any lecture series that you want to share?
For myself, definitely, I'm always sharing how I embark my digital nomad journey, and I also have some partner digital nomad coach who I can refer to whoever are interested in, to have some lesson to take to become digital nomad. Actually, there are many different ways, but I would say the most important thing to become digital nomad is you have to take the step forward, to take the initiative of trying out new things, especially for those who are now working in the office 9 to 5 and are willing to change their lifestyle.
So are there specific skills that you would recommend that people work on if they want to move from the office to becoming a digital nomad? Aside from attending your events, of course.
That's also a skill. You have to push yourself to the networking area to get more information.
So one is social skills.
Yeah, social definitely. They'll be encouraged. But of course, becoming a digital nomad, first of all, you have to have a financial support, remote one, not just, apparently if you're working in the office, you cannot easily become digital nomad. So you have to realize that what type of skill set are more suitable for working remotely. For example, I would say, for example, communication skills. That matters because when working remotely with your colleague, a trust issue may happen between your colleague and of course the clarity of information delivery by text. That's also important. And other things is general skills like logical thinking, time management. I think it applies to both offline and online job.
And so do you see a lot of people struggle when they do the shift from regular job to digital nomad?
I would say, if you're talking about struggling, they struggling before they start.
Oh, is
That's
it because they're overthinking it?
I would say mostly yes.
Yes.
I've seen many people successfully become digital nomad. They are like brave people. They just take the initiative, either starting their side business, trying some freelancing work, or whatever things they can do possibly remotely, and lead themselves to become a group of people who have more choices. And with those choices, they got to explore what else they can do to earn, to get more income. So I would say that's the main difference between the people who are only working 9 to 5 in the office and adventurers.
So be brave.
Be
Aside
brave.
from social and communication skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like be brave. So I think that's something that we can also apply not just for digital nomads, but to also like a lot of entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah, definitely for myself, because I'm now starting my own business. I would definitely promote the entrepreneurship. But of course, there are many different ways to become digital nomad. For example, if you're focusing on freelancing, there's a different skill set. If you're focusing on being a remote employee, that's another different skill set. And of course, being a remotely, you might need to have some other hard skills as well. For example, nowadays, programming is quite popular for becoming a remote worker, and digital marketing. So if you fall into these two fields, you have a higher chance to become a remote employee or either working remotely.
So programming and digital marketing, just take note of those two.
And there are many ways as well.
And then a lot of different jobs as well, but those are what you see are like the top two, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I would say just don't ever limit yourself to only two fields.
True.
I have seen even teachers become digital nomad, yoga teachers, and as well as like trainers.
Trainers.
They're called trainers. The fitness coach.
Yeah, they're fitness trainers.
Yeah, I also see the fitness coach become digital nomad. They turn their skill set into like digital product and sell it online. And that's also a possible way. So don't limit yourself.
So also like creativity, I guess, because for them to have thought of ways to sell their fitness products online as like a digital nomad, it also involves a bit of creative thinking.
Yeah, definitely. And as I mentioned, the more you explore, the more thoughts of your life you will collect. And creativity is something that composite by these different thoughts of your life.
Now, going back to you making the jump from full-time to from full-time office, like full-time 9 to 5 job, to full-time being in charge of Digital Nomads Taiwan. Can you give us like an idea into your own like thinking? Like, was it a scary jump? Was it an easy decision? Can you help us like through the whole like thought process there? Because like I'm sure a lot of people who are also wanting to be entrepreneurs, they start with like an office job or some kind of job, and then they can't make the move from being an employee to like an entrepreneur. So we want to kind of ask you, how did it feel for you when you finally made that decision to do Digital Nomads Taiwan 100%?
That was, for me, that was not a difficult decision. Just recall all my experience within the 3 years in the workplace. I definitely know myself that freedom is something that I'm always looking for. And apparently, if you work for someone, there's a high chance you cannot get 100% freedom. But at the beginning of the year, when I started Digital Nomad Taiwan, something that 100% made by myself, I feel the freedom. Of course, I can be lazy, lying on the couch to waste time, but That's kind of the feeling that you can design everything by yourself. Of course, I'm working really hard on building the community, building the event, but that's all my decisions. There's no others pushing behind me toward any goals. All the goals are made by me. So that's the main thing I feel about building my own business.
That sounds cool. So freedom, and actually, it looks like you're doing so much more work now that you're starting your own business.
Oh, it's way more than the work I had when I was working for a company. And this is crazy. I mean, like, I'm working 24/7 every day, literally, and sometimes only 2 to 3 hours a day.
For sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you sometimes, like, you're posting something online, and I was like, what time is this? He's still in a meeting?
So I think that it's not, for me, it's not a really difficult decision, because during the time I working for companies, I always know the first priority for me is always freedom. So as soon as I realized building my own business gave me 100% of freedom most of the time, I just jump into it when I catch the wave of digital nomad. Mm-hmm. When I feel that the world is calling digital nomad, the trend is growing, and I just jump into it. For me, it's not a difficult decision, but on the other hand, to run a business, the financial situation is also important. Because apparently offline event, most of the time is not a really sustainable business model. If you want to compare to the earnings I had during my time working in the company, it's just a little. And to scale out the business, I also need to feed my team. So I would say the challenging I'm facing is that I need to find a better business model and verify it as soon as possible to make my life I'm pursuing a more sustainable one.
Cool, because we are also looking forward to more events and more from the Digital Nomad Taiwan community.
Thank you. I'm also looking for more to myself, a person who will actually travel around the world as a digital nomad. But because compared to the time when I was working remotely in a company, as an entrepreneur building a business currently in Taiwan, being honest, I don't travel a lot. That's difficult.
You're just a nomad right now, but you don't travel outside of Taiwan most of the time.
Yeah, I put most of the time on working on stuff like operations, like building business, encouraging my team, looking for new team members.
So your focus right now is on building a stable base in Taiwan, so that you can continue to fulfill your nomad dreams.
Exactly. I know that's something I'm looking for, and I want to build that kind of lifestyle. I would say better with my hobbies, like interest of building an organization, a business.
All right. So for everyone listening or watching, are there any events that they should look forward to for the first half of the year that you're very excited to share with them?
I would say just join the meetup. Each meetup we have different elements, and definitely for you to get to know what we are at the first step. Join the meetup, and you will see if there will be further big events, small events, upcoming events in the coming months.
Are there also any lecture series that are being planned, or online services that are being planned or in the works?
Those are all in progress, and check it out in our website, and you will find it out.
All right, thank you for listening. I'm Janina, your host. We have Harry today, our special guest. Thanks for coming. We know you're super busy, so thank you so much for coming to our podcast today.
No, thank you so much. Everyone is busy.
And of course, this is Founder Scape. Founder Scape is supported by 11th Fleet, Keysource Studio, Sophistech, and Sophistech Studio. So stay tuned for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.